Kouhai! Oh god, what am I even... this isn't like a main project or something, but I was like, oh hey, let's do a little test something out, why not? And I did it. I should have known it was just going to end up being a video, but we have, Sticker Brush Symphony, and we got an empty place with some text I cannot read, but may or may not be translated by which means of a translating person that I may have that comments me sometimes. There's a happy face in there, but it's not really a happy times. If you're wondering, this is clearly live commentary, obviously. No, I recorded this earlier, and this first half took me about a half hour, which I'd say is pretty modest, and not too bad, but I didn't know why it took so long, but it did. Especially dying to that first part so many times. You basically gotta hold the jump button and left for the easiest transition, but I thought it was just hold nothing, but apparently that was not the case. I'm being afraid with the springboard and trying to find my way through, and those black marks are indicated as, you know, possibly something you don't want to touch, going by the namesake of the author, and I did that, and, you know, death montaging it up, of course, because just wouldn't be a terraformer video, which I didn't even say what's up peoples, it's a terraformer, now that we're a minute 42 in, but probably like 10 minutes into the recording. You get here, and there's some slowdown because there's lots of piranha on screen, and they didn't use the little cheat that Zeldara gave me, which isn't really a cheat, but it's something so that I don't have the limitations that which I had. Here you go, spin jump a guy to get across. I mean, again, but in like more interesting territory than just flat land and some stuff. And there's some piranhas in pretty spots that might get you, and you can slip off sometimes, and yeah, stuff is definitely happening. Is this commentary ruining this run? I do not know, but I could upload 2 parts, like one without commentary, one with, if anyone's really that interested, but I like to commentate my stuff, but, you know, here is like nearing the end of the first half, but of course I'm not gonna get it when I first see it, because that would just be too easy. I died there like at least 4 times, but, you know, it's always that last really difficult part that you somehow manage to make your way through, just somehow. I don't really know how to define Kouhai's difficulty. It's gimmicky, and it's like the Japanese gimmicky type stuff going on, but I don't know if I'd call it Kaizo quite just, but it is very Kaizo-like in the terms and mannerisms of what you have to do. Yeah, yes, ASMT is really the main project here, besides Luigi's Adventure, but this is also going on at times at which I feel like recording, and I don't have access to my commentary machine that sometimes happens. You gotta do a little tricky there, which I don't know why I didn't really show, but I probably did, but the thing lagged a lot, you know. So, I don't know how it edited a lot better than it did the other thing, but this was also only like 2 hours. Spoilers, the second half takes me an hour and a half, even though it really shouldn't have taken that long. Just so happy to have that power up that, because, you know, this hack, I'm pretty sure it does not give power-ups at all. So, you know, of course I'm gonna throw it away within like 5 seconds, and I did a little something in this hack that I don't usually do, but, you know, I really didn't feel like playing that first half every time I lost the possible 5 lives that I got from starting the game. Basically what I was doing, you might be seeing, like, most of my deaths on the first half were at 5. Yeah, that's because I was, like, I wanted all 5 of my life, so I just kind of, like, fast forward through deaths and game overs and starting over. Instead of just using a save state like a normal person, that's what I did, and then, you know, stuff and things occurred after I lose all these lives, because, you know, spoilers, I don't get through it in 5 lives. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious with the time spent. There's 2 Chuckles here that got me, and whoa, there is major lag going on. I was just hearing the spin jump be going on, like, very long time. I don't know why I kept this in, but I did, because it was kind of progress, and then it wasn't, and then, yeah, I'm gonna die in, like, a second, right? That's not really spoiling anything for anyone. Yep. I must have missed that so many times, especially because at one point I figured out I can do it in all stylish of ways, and I was doing it the stylish way every time, and, you know, it was causing me death sometimes when I was being dumb, but there's nothing over here. I don't know why I checked that area. Yeah, I should have known. I could have just showed it off when it was, like, there, when I get there, but, you know, the piranhas, they kind of get stuck in the pipe, so I don't know what your thought at which. I know you want to make it all tight, but yeah, it kind of takes the difficulty away, but it's a good thing, so I'm kind of happy you did that. And yep, I'm up here. I did a crazy silly dodge, because that's how dodging in games work. As far as, like, people doing this toolless, I don't know if I've seen anyone do the first one or the third one, but I have seen the Paradox, who is someone who has done Cooler Cruel the first level without tools, so, you know, he's good. Yeah, he did Kouhai too, and he didn't die a whole lot, so, yep, that's, there's an invisible block there, just so you are aware. That kind of messed me up a lot. Ooh, long painful death montage there. Yep, there's a lot of them. Yep, so this guy, the Paradox, who I may just link in the description just because of how awesome it is to see someone do Cooler Cruel without tools. But I am remembering someone that, like, had a death montage with it as well. So there must have been multiple people that have done Cooler Cruel like that. Look at that. That's some badass, like, tool-assisted speedrun, but without the tools or the assistance, or even the speedrun. So, you know, because this is clearly just me trying to get out of the level, and I don't really care if I have to wait a lot, because, you know, right here, I do this, and I don't know how many times I had to come back because the Koopas were not timed enough to get to that second one, and that kinda sucked. Little heads up for if and when I ever make another video, which I will, because I actually really like the next stage, or at least the music that's going on, because I only played like 5 seconds of it, but, you know, I'm going to use the cheat where I have 99 lives, because there is a save after every level, so I'm thinking that was the intent, more or less. So yeah, it's a bit better than, like, having to do the first half and then putting, like, a save state, and yeah, I just try to avoid using those things. There's text, and I'm, like, all happy and jittery because I beat it, and it took a lot longer than it should have. So yeah, this was a terraformer, not really a usual type thing dealio, but it happened today, and who knows when it'll happen again. So yeah, there's your save point, and I left on some Sticker Brush Symphony on a little bit. Donkey Kong Country 2 is a good game. And I got Dragon Man. He says hello. Laika 2, he just wants us dead.